On March 7, 2025, President Trump criticized Japan, saying, "I love Japan. We have a great relationship with Japan. But we have an interesting deal with Japan where we have to protect them, but they don't have to protect us." That's the way the deal reads. We have to protect Japan. Under no circumstances do they have to protect us. But what does President Trump mean by this? Let's break down his statement and clarify the facts. First off, America imposed a constitution on Japan after World War II, which prohibits Japan from having an offensive military. That's why, in 1954, Japan created the Self-Defense Force, the 8th strongest military in the world today. Because America initially did not want Japan to have an offensive force, the US-Japan Security Treaty was signed in 1951 and revised in 1960. Article 5 of the treaty says both nations will respond together to any threats against Japan, and Article 6 guarantees that Japan will provide military bases for the US. In fact, Japan hosts more than 50,000 US troops, the largest overseas US military presence, and the most US military bases outside the country. Why is this important? Japan's location makes Japan a strategic partner for the US. And to strengthen this partnership, Japan even reinterpreted its constitution in 2015. Japan can now engage in collective security if an ally is attacked, something they couldn't do before. On the financial side, it's true that Japan only spends 1 to 2% of its GDP on its own defense. But Japan doesn't just foot the bill for its own security. Japan provides all the land for US bases and pays the host nation support fee, known in Japanese as omoyari yosan. Since 1987, Japan has been financially supporting the US military, initially with things like salaries and utilities. But over time, the support expanded to infrastructure and training. In 2021, Japan pledged 211 billion yen, roughly 1.41 billion USD, per year for the next 5 years. That's 7 billion USD in total. On top of that, Japan recently bought 900 million USD worth of US missiles and another 2.35 billion USD worth of Tomahawk missiles last year. So what does all this mean? While the financial support might seem small, the strategic location is massive for American security, and it's crucial for Japan's own defense as well. So, Mr. President, maybe the US-Japan Security Treaty isn't exactly as unfair as you might think. In fact, it might actually be unfair to Japan. If a guest causes a mess in your house, you have every right to confront them, right? Well, unlike Germany or Italy, where domestic laws can restrict US military actions, Japan's legal framework doesn't impose those same limitations on the US military. In fact, this imbalance extends beyond the military bases themselves. Japan's legal framework, set up under agreements like SEICO, gives the US an upper hand in more ways than one, including how crimes involving US personnel are handled as seen in this article. So check out my video that got demonetized to learn more about this unfair US-Japan Security Treaty.